Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Tonight, we'd like to address the issue, the growing problem in South Africa. The violence on Black foreigners is escalating. Here is a video from Al Jazeera reporting on that issue.
Africa says it's sending troops to Johannesburg after a series of anti-immigrant attacks. At least 7 people have been killed in the violence against foreigners in the past 2 weeks. It's prompted hundreds of Zimbabweans living in South Africa to return home. Harry Mutasa spoke to some who are trying to move back.
The journey from South Africa to Zimbabwe took about 24 hours by bus. And now the families are finally here at Beitbridge Border Post in Zimbabwe. And they're in this camp set up by government and aid agencies. Here they've got basic necessities, but they're waiting for the next way forward, how to get their respective homes in other parts of the country. And the shelter is quite basic. This is where many people have been sleeping and will be sleeping for a couple of days until plans are made for them to go home. But even if they do go home now, they say their next problem is what will they do when they get there? The issue of jobs. This country has a high unemployment rate. Some independent economists say it's as high as 80 or 90%. And a lot of families are wondering when they get to their villages, get to their towns, will they be able to find jobs they can look after their families? Some are saying they'll wait it out as long as they can, but if they find life too tough here in Zimbabwe, some are saying they're willing to take the risk, go back to South Africa. It's dangerous if it means that they can earn a bit of money to send back home to Zimbabwe so they can look after their extended families.
This is at the heart of our problem in Zimbabwe. Many Zimbabweans have left the country as economic and/or political refugees. And this has been going on for decades now. This is a problem. We have millions of Zimbabweans who have left the country. And many of them are in South Africa. And South Africans are now saying Zimbabweans must go home by force. House to house is loading. We have seen some of the violence that has happened in South Africa directed against foreigners, including Zimbabweans. We cannot ignore this problem. Many people who have been to South Africa or who are in South Africa will tell you that Zimbabweans are being ill-treated by South Africans. And one of the main reasons why this has become such a serious issue is because some of those South Africans are saying to Zimbabweans, you are not men enough to sort out your own problems in your own home country. It is a serious charge and one which we cannot ignore. We cannot pretend that Zimbabwe is a failed state because we fail to govern ourselves. Yes, South Africa has got its own problems. And some of them, they are really serious. There's problems of corruption, mismanagement, etc., etc. Those are their own problems. Having so many Zimbabweans in South Africa is not helping their situation, it's compounding it. We really have to deal with this problem. Why Zimbabwe is a failed state. As that report is said, 80 to 90% of Zimbabweans are unemployed. We have become a nation of kia, informal employment. And this has gone on for decades. We have seen how serious corruption has become in Zimbabwe. It was bad during Mugabe's time. But under Mnangagwa, it has reached new levels. As a nation, we cannot pretend that we do not have a problem. We have a serious problem. The question is, what are we doing about it? We really have to solve this problem of Zimbabwe bad governance that has made Zimbabwe a failed state. These people were coming back from South Africa. I feel for them. They are finding themselves in an impossible situation. They are not wanted where they are. And yet in Zimbabwe, you come back and like what Harum Tassa was saying there, you'll find the situation back home is terrible. The other day we were showing a video clip of ZANU-PF destroying houses in a rural area. The only logical explanation why the regime was destroying the house is because the regime wants to keep the poor dependent on the regime. There's no other reason for it. This is a regime whose power is totally dependent on keeping millions of ordinary Zimbabweans poor and destitute. This regime is forcing people into poverty. There is no reason why people in the rural areas are being denied title deeds to the land. The whites before them denied people title deeds. And now we found ourselves in a situation where the black government is doing the same thing. It's doing the same thing. For no other reason than for its own selfish needs to keep the people poor. It doesn't make any sense at all. And those who say that Zimbabweans, we have allowed the regime to walk roughshod over us, they have a point. We cannot keep on hiding from it. Like I said, there is absolutely no reason why anyone would destroy a housing structure like that. But that is exactly what is happening. That is the reality in Zimbabwe. That is the tragedy in Zimbabwe. It will be no surprise at all that the family who built this house in the rural area is probably foreign based. And they've been hoping that at least if they go back to Zimbabwe, they will have a decent place to live in. And the regime has got its own ideas. It's decided to destroy it. This is in a country where millions are living in mud huts like this one. Why would you destroy a decent house? It doesn't make any sense at all. But because these rural people do not have title deeds, there is absolutely nothing they can do. The regime, the officials will tell them that you don't have title deeds, and they cannot argue. It's only recently that the regime has started giving people title deeds to land. And has made a big song and dance about it. 46 years after independence, only 1,000 individuals have received title deeds in a country where millions live in the rural areas and they are not allowed to own, to have title deeds to even a few square feet of land. The problem that is happening in South Africa, at the present moment, they set the target date of 30th of June that foreigners must leave South Africa. Is real. Hundreds of thousands of ordinary Zimbabweans have been caught in that dragnet. And no doubt many more will be caught in it. If this violence keep on escalating, no Zimbabwean will be safe in South Africa. And yet, they are not returned back to Zimbabwe because the economic and political situation there is simply intolerable. We have allowed the situation in Zimbabwe to get where it is today. Zimbabwe had the potential to become the Switzerland of Africa. The South Korea of Africa. But unfortunately, that has not happened because we have a corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical regime running the country. We owe it to ourselves to correct that situation. No one else is going to correct it for us. "46 years after independence, and we still are failing to hold free, fair, and credible elections. If the truth be said, the number one reason why Zimbabwe is a failed state is because for 46 years and counting, we've been stuck with this corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical ZANU-PF dictatorship. The regime has got this constitutional amendment bill number 3, which is set to be approved. It's now just a matter of weeks before it becomes law. And that amendment bill seeks to give Mnangagwa to extend his stay in office by another further 2 years. And yet, if the truth be told, Mnangagwa was never elected by the people of Zimbabwe. He got into State House in 2017 on the cocktails of a military coup. He promised to hold free, fair, and credible elections, only to go on to rig the elections. They rigged the elections in 2018 and then rigged the elections again in 2023. Even SADC in the AU condemned Zimbabwe's 2023 elections. And in his usual arrogance, Mnangagwa dismissed them as detractors.
Vana vakatuka ZANU-PF kana ndonyanyisa kufara zvakiri kuita zvakanaka. Ukavona vavengi vako vachikurumbidza unenge uchikanganisa. Ukavona vachiti ZANU-PF yakaipa, farai. You are doing correct things for your country. Hongu takaita maelections edu kuna vamwe vaitaura zvisina musoro zvikanzi maelection anofamba zvakanaka ndezvavo.
What a nightmare. In the past, the European Union have condemned our elections as flawed. This time, it was our own regional body, SADC, and the continental body, AU, who said those elections were flawed. And Mnangagwa has the audacity of dismissing them as detractors. We, the people of Zimbabwe, have allowed him to get away with it. Nations get the government they deserve. We cannot deny that as a nation, we have the government we deserve. and we are paying dearly for it. It is one thing to be a refugee, but if wherever you go, you find that those people are telling you that we don't want you here, it makes life a bit more difficult. Where are you going to go? As a nation, we really need to sit up and sort out this problem of rigged elections and bad governance. It's not going to go away. And we've been kicking the can down the road for decades. Now the chickens have come home to roost. We need to attend to the problem of rigged elections and bad governance. That is the reality. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.